Is that three different ways? Is that three different ways? Now she's here. See, it happens all the time. So I'm going to ask you, pass or no pass? I'm going to ask you, based on what you just experienced, pass or no pass? Was it three different ways? Was it three different ways? Pass or no pass? Thank you. Take your seat. Look, there's a reason, there's a difference between the $500,000 a year agent and the $50,000 a year agent. And the difference is education. So you can let this go or you can call it like it is. It's either pass or it's what? No pass. Thank you for your participation. Who else got their money back? Okay, thank you. Yael? Okay, who was Yael's partner? Where's Amber? Please stand up. Yael, show us how you asked for your stuff back. First you asked you could have your phone back. Then what? Then you asked if it rang. Okay. Is asking if it rang asking for it back? Okay, thank you. Good. May I please have it back? And then what happened? Then what'd you do? You made a conversation about the phone? Okay, it's talking about the phone, asking for it back. Okay, pass or no pass? Pass or no pass? Did she ask for it three distinctly different ways? See, here's what I'm looking for. Thanks. Give him a hand. Understand this thing about asking questions. When you ask the questions the first time, they may not hear it. So you've got to ask it again in a new unit of time, like it's the first time you've ever asked. So I'm looking for persistence and flexibility. You've got to be persistent and you've got to be what? Flexible. Okay? Now, if you can write this off as a silly exercise, but you want to know what you're going to sound like if you don't master this tool? Do you want to know what you're going to sound like? Okay, good. Do you have that phone ready? You have the brokers queued up? Okay, so we're going to call some real estate offices. For those of you online watching, please hear me on this. This is not about making anyone wrong, embarrassing anyone, or disparaging anyone. Are you clear on this? Never disparage anyone else, especially publicly. It just makes you look bad. This is not about that. It's not about embarrassing anyone. It's not about making anyone wrong. Are you clear on this? The reason we played the game is I want to give you an experience of what it's like. The reason we're going to be playing games going forward is rather than tell you what it's like, which you'll never understand, we want to give you an experience of what it's going to be like. It's called experiential learning. We learn from our what? Experiences. Hopefully. Sometimes it takes a few. Have you made the same mistake more than once? Okay, good. So that's just a slow learner. That's all that is. You want to get it the first time. So what we're going to do is give you an experience of, from the buyer's perspective, of what it's like to talk to a real estate agent on duty. So we're going to pose as the buyer. We're going to ask some questions. Do buyers ever ask if the house has a large yard? Does that question ever get asked? Okay. So when the buyer asks the agent on duty, does it have a large yard? What does the agent on duty sometimes think? They want a large yard. So please hear this. You're doing one of two things. You're either asking what? You're either asking what? Questions. Or what are you doing? Who said that? Nicely done. That's it. Nicely said. What assumption do they make? Does it have a large yard? What assumption sometimes gets made? They want a large yard. So what does the realtor on phone duty say? Yes, it's a huge yard. You're going to love it. You can hardly see the fence. And the buyer goes, I was hoping to get away from yard work this time. And then the realtor tries to take it back. Well, it's not that big. Most of it's on the cliff, and it's their escape. So really the green part. Understand, if you know how to sell, you don't have to lie. Now, when the agent does that, what happens to their credibility? Do we trust them? Is there a relationship? Does the deal get done? Okay, so all I want you to understand is if you have the tools, then you can breeze through these conversations. So this is number 4 under sales. What is it? Porcupine. What's porcupine? If I threw one in your lap, what would you do? You get rid of it, right? You throw it back. So it's called answer a question with a what? Question. So this is what separates the average from the pro. When the pro hears the question, does it have a large yard? What does the professional realtor say? Yes. What is the definition? Look at your business blueprint. What is the definition of sales? Look at it. Identification and fulfillment of wants and needs. Does it have a large yard? Do we want to identify what size yard they want? Yes. If we take them and show them a house that's 3 acres when they want a large yard, are they going to buy it? We don't know. Maybe. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes the customer doesn't know what they want. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they go look and change their mind. How many of you have experienced that? Right? This is why I quit working buyers. Like, I'd rather stick a fork in my neck. I was distinctly told, Cat Mountain, 0 lot, nothing down, view. They bought 3 acres in the valley in Glen Lake. I'm not kidding you. That was it for me. They don't make enough alcohol to solve that. You know, no matter how much you try to kill that pain, you wake up, it's there. You're like, oh my goodness, another buyer. So sometimes they don't know, and they go through this process of discovery, and you're educating them as to what's out there. Sometimes they do know. The question is, did you ask? So, what's the question when they say, does it have a large yard? Do you want a large yard? No, I want to get away from yard work. Great, it's about average for the neighborhood. And then you close. What's the next tool? What's number 5? What's number 6? An alternate choice is the question with 2 answers. Either one's a yes. It's about average for the neighborhood. I'm available now, or would 5 be better? When they answered that, they said yes. The goal is to get them to say yes. Go, show them the house. If you're going to do this anyway, you might as well do it right. I'm suggesting you never put a buyer in your car, but some of you will anyway. If they say, well, hold on a minute. Will the home sell VA? Let's say it's a $600,000 property. Will it sell VA? Will a $600,000 property sell using a VA loan? Yes. What's a VA loan limit? What's the VA loan limit? Okay, let's call it 300 even, since nobody knows. What assumption are you making? They don't have the difference in cash. But you didn't what? You made the what? Will that home sell VA? Yeah, just put 400 down. No problem. When can we go to closing? Now I want to see it. Are you with me? Okay, so you're either doing this or this. This is what you sound like. That's what you sound like on the phone. You're telling the person that wants to buy no, when actually they can. Are you with me? Okay, you want to hear it? Would you like to hear it? So this is what we're going to ask. Does it have a large yard? Then we're going to ask, will it sell VA? Then we're going to ask, will the seller negotiate if I paid cash? Do you ever get asked that question? Do you ever get asked if the seller is negotiable? How many of you have been asked this question? It's fairly common. What's the answer? What do most realtors say? You can always make an offer. Please don't be average. What's the correct response? I've learned never to make a decision for the seller. Do you think you'd be interested if they would? Yes, I'm very interested. Great, I'm available now. Would 5 be better? Excuse me. Excuse me. Okay, let's call and see how this works. Get some listings for me. Again, please hear me. This is not about making anybody wrong. I just want to give you a sense of what you're going to sound like. Hopefully not. Perfect. Perfect. Thank you. Okay. Hey, Claudia. Glad you're here. Thanks for showing up. Okay. You have my arrow? That's okay. We're going to mute the name so the people online watching this can't hear it. It's not about who the company is, who the person is. It's about the behavior.
Hi, this is Darren. Please leave your message after the...
Okay, they're not there, so no problem. This is AD, Daystar Co. 699.9, 91 days on the market, vacant. This is Timberline, 80, 1 million, 5 days on the market. I am. Question was, am I calling the listing agent? The answer is yes. Well, the agent phone, it could be the office in some cases, but not yet. See what happens. Yeah, I'm calling about the house on Timberline. I wonder if I could ask you a few questions.
Sure, you bet. Fire away.
It's how much is it?
Are we talking? I've got 2 on Timberline. One I just listed with a pool for sale.
2,500 block.
Yeah, it's exactly $1 million is where we priced it.
Does it have a large yard?
It's got it's 0.357 acres. It's backing a designated green belt that is, I don't know, Rowan was kind of talking about turning it into a park, green belt. I'm not going to say a large fenced yard right now. There is a flat area where you can put plate tape and all, but mainly it's the woods behind. There's no one behind. And I'm nearby if you want me to show it to you. I'm just trying to get out of Rowanwood.
Okay, can I ask you a couple more questions?
Sure.
Will it sell VA?
I don't know why it wouldn't be a finance, but I believe your maximum is, what's the maximum VA loan amount?
Around 300, I think.
Yeah, so you would have to come up with the cash difference.
Nicely done. Okay, great. What can you tell me about the house?
Okay, 4 bedrooms, 3 full baths. So they just remodeled the kitchen and the bathroom, put in new cabinets, new appliances, granite, all that stuff. It's they put in a car. They put about a roof on there. What else? Yeah, it's really nice.
Let me consider yourselves fairly articulate.
Kind of a wall of windows out.
You can never describe this house where they're going to see it.
With any kind of blind, because you're just
Never.
looking in the green belt.
Never.
What else? It's got a 2-car garage and then a huge workshop. It's got a tankless water heater.
Can you see the house?
And then there's also 2 covered parking spaces in addition to the 2-car garage.
Okay. Well, I can't go right now, but I may go later. If you could give me the exact address, I'll drive by, and if I want to see the inside, can I call you back?
Sure, it's 2506 Timberline Drive.
Okay, because I just moved here, and I got to start work Monday, and I got to make a decision pretty quick. You know, that VA loan's kind of tricky. I think I'll just pay cash. If I pay cash, will the seller negotiate with me?
I'm sure everything's negotiable. You know how that goes.
I do. I know exactly how that goes. All right. Well, I'm going to drive by, and if I want to see it, I'll call you back.
All right.
Okay.
What is your name so I know when you call?
It's George.
George. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Thanks.